Hello and welcome. Today is the 16th day of July 2019. My name is Eric and welcome to the Money Charts channel where today we'll take a look at a lot of markets. The Bitcoin, like normal to start off with, also transition into the stock market and the precious metals market as well. So going over a lot of different things. I want to go over that as quick as possible, which can be difficult for me, but I'll do my best. And like always, all bets, trades, and of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. All right, we're on support test number two of this $9,814 Fibonacci level, currently price action at 10,500, right around the 18 average of closes, front weighted. And it's been staying above this 18 average since it managed to enter the 18 average of lows on February the 6th, and since breaking out above it on April the 1st. Well, it hasn't even went below the 18 lows, and this is one of the two times it's had a correction with inside of it, and the third with this one in here on April 25th area, April May 1st being the first within that area. So now let's take a look at this quickly on the monthly chart, and it's not showing anything major. Oh, this looks overextended. No, it doesn't. It looks wild cardish. Do you have any type of phenomenal, amazing read that it's going to go higher? Well, chart action says that it's in a bull market, it's getting above it, all that type of stuff. Well, that's most certainly a good argument for going higher. But at the same point, a lot of choppiness coming into play. It's went below, it's went above. Okay, a little bit, but 18 average is flopping back and forth within this new area as well. And that to me, that is just one way of saying that this is very, very wild card for high volatility. Price action can most certainly. I mean, a move up to here is like, man, okay, whatever. I mean, that's okay. Nothing fantastic, reaching previous high. But if it starts to break it, okay, well, let's see. And what kind of intensity, meaning large rates of ascent, how convincing of a move, that type of thing will take place on the property or the situation event of breaking previous resistance or north of 20,000. And one of the things I do is ratio trades, so let's see what's going on with that Neo Theta because that just gave me an alert, which is it's going down, which means that Theta is overperforming Neo right now. So it's telling me, Derek, you got to sell some Neo, buy some Theta. Excuse me, sell some Theta, and buy some Neo. Because on the single hour term time frame, this just happened. Is this okay? I guess. Anyway, we'll get in. I'm just gonna let this play out for a little bit and take a look to see exactly what's going on with Theta's up 2.4%. So is it having a push right now? It's having a little bit of one. Is Neo doing the opposite effect? Yeah, it is. And in turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send an alert here at 986 because that's what I'm going to try to sell there for that trade against Neo. That's what I'm trying to do, and well, I'll get alerted on this case. But back to Bitcoin, and I want to transition into the shorter term and then move into the other indices. So within the daily, another retest in here. Band is flattened out. We're now resisting the 18 average of lows. Key level of support, well, 9,800, of course, is the fib. It's pierced below it. And to me, it's going to get very, very freaky. And this is just an if situation. If this thing from here breaks down to about 9,300, which is really just a small pierce below this line, and then bottoms from there, and then eventually soon gets well above the 18 average of highs. We'll see if it does. Whatever the market does is what it does. I can only react to the situation. I and that's really about it. Shorter term, 3 hour. So within this, the top here is 13,000 from July the 10th. So 6 days from this peak. And resisting here, barely an attempt to get above. This is more than barely an attempt to get above. But this is a quick, sharp pullback that is now entered into the 18 average of lows. So most certainly a attempt in reverting the trend if this ultimately fails, and it's at that hold support area zone right now. And when we look at this on the single hour, this is where we can see in here that this July top, July 10th top in here. Here's the failed breakout attempt as it came in and corrected it in this little area here. I guess I could call this a successful correction even though it made a lower low from this move. But what makes that more amplifying or more important is after sustained time, it has some time above it. There's a failed breakout, fast move lower. Does it resist where it comes from here? Most certainly it does in that area. And here we have a little bit of holding before this nice green period, establishing this resistance, but at the same time establishing support as well. And I moved all. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to remove all drawing tools. So if you're wondering how to put indicators on here, how I do it, this is a perfect time to show you. Indicators are an indicator. So I want volume, but I'm going to put volume in the bottom. So I want weighted moving average, and I want the highs and the lows. So it's under moving average weighted. Right here, I click it twice, once and twice, and then I want my volume. So within this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my settings in. I pick this blue, and I want this thickness one rated higher. And I want 18 and high, and then low for the next one. And we'll do the same thing here. And whatever numbers you use, if you use 20, I mean, it pretty much works the exact same thing. It's just in the area of the bigger number you are, of course, the further, or the further, whatever, the further away it would be. So 5 periods and 6 periods would just be dumb, and 200 will give you a much different area. Okay, so there we have it. So leaving the 18 average of highs at this stage, having a follow through within this current hour, and this move just started falling down at 8 o'clock this morning. There we have it in there. Markets are going to go up, and then, of course, markets go down. And let's take a look at the stock market next. I'm going to show the Nasdaq composite, though, instead of the Dow or S&P. And on the 4-minute time frame, I don't really care. On the daily term time frame, okay, well, I guess technically speaking, it's got this higher low. It filled this empty space from the Christmas lows last year and these highs. And this is how much it filled. Point low, point high, point low. Now resistance, previous high, a little bit, but it's now grinding its way higher. But I really don't even care too much about that. Even the weekly chart. Well, this is that last low, which is really just a minor reflection from this one. This 2018 low, as we can see. And in that's just a move from way back. This has just been a bull market run. There's that 2008 crash, if you want to call it such. And even that 2000 crash. I mean, I'm going to show you why I don't even like. It's not in my book. It's not a crash. It's barely a retracement. On the monthly chart, there's that up move, back down, failed rally attempt at that point. Do you call this a successful correction? The 2008 crash, if you call it a crash again? And the reason why I don't like to call this a crash is, well, let's just scroll back to 1974. This is about 56, 55 in that area. And this is around 5200, this high in here, 5132 and a half. So this is the crash from here to here. Okay, that's the 38.2% exponential Fibonacci retracement works out to about 900. This bottom at about 11. So it did a large pierce, if you want to call that a pierce above. It's almost a pierce below what the 23.6 would have been, which is just a meh, whatever kind of correction. So it almost had a pretty good correction, and it did correct, of course. But when you look at it from this perspective, one reason why I like to point this out on the daily chart for Bitcoin is how long up is too much above on this 18 when all you have are just small blimps of corrections. Because on the monthly chart, starting from these 1974 lows, you go through a major inflationary period. You could even say this really wasn't even. Did your wealth? Did you protect yourself from $56 up to 150? I mean, inflation was almost more than triple then, and most certainly precious metals did better during that particular time. But I mean, precious metals haven't been doing the straight up thing, which we'll be going to next after, of course, the Nasdaq. But there's a little bit of move below the 18 in here. Again, at this stage, a couple brief glimpses back on the 1987 crash, if you want to call that a crash, and yet another little bit of a correctionary phase in there that goes below the 18 on the monthly. And then, I'm not even going to circle it, but 1998 blimp, and it was just a blimp. So it had a sustained one in 2000, a sustained move below here. A few lower highs, a few lower lows. A good sustained one, not as sustained as this one, but an okay one here. But every single time it went below it, it came back, and well, this was another blimp that happened back at the start of this year because it's leaving the 18 average of highs to the upside right now. And if I'll just quickly show the Dow Jones on the very long term, and this is going before uh, all of us were even alive. So we had it. This is what I would call a crash, I would suppose. When I mean, I don't even know the price action before January 1915. I was going to say 2015. That's 101 years ago, 100 plus. But it was going up, and then it gave all of it back, and then look how long it took to get it back. It didn't break above it until 1954. But up and sideways, up and sideways, and now it's been up. Will we have another further retracement from this point? Yeah, at some point. It could be topping now. I don't think it will. Around 30,000, maybe. 40, 50, 60, yeah, possibly. And that's what happens when we're looking at something that's priced in an environment of major inflationary pressures. Of course, fiat currency, its fundamentals for how it's created, well, that's the information is out there for you to understand if you don't know yet. Now flipping over to gold, GOLD priced against the US dollar, which from this low of 250 or so at the start of the millennium for 11 years, almost a little bit a decade, went continuously up. Not much, just a small glimpse below the 18 average on the monthly back in 2008, and then straight up. So since the top point, this has developed this leg lower, going from 2011 all the way down to 20. We'll stay the start of 2016. So 4 complete years plus the last portion of 2011 to the bottom, and all these resistance tests since then. Once in 2016, again in 2017, again in 2018, and again this year. The only difference is this year we've already taken that level out. Halfway through the month, July the 16th, it's a pause month thus far, as the 18 average is starting to have a nice rate of increase. It had a small one in here, very small one at this rate, but now starting to have a real noticeable one, and just starting to. This level of resistance is exactly what I expect is going to be in play for the next move. If price action does come down to 1325, then that's an area of level. That's a level that was before resistance and became very heavy resistance. I would consider to be strong support right now. But I don't think that's going to happen. It may. I'd be expecting its next move because it's pretty much right in the middle of this. So this is where the game gets fun for me as far as, okay, what's your next prediction? Is it either going to be a pierce greater than $1,522.56, Or is it going to be at least 1 penny below $1,321.07? And my guess would be above the 1522. And it's because, of course, as I see how it's playing through after the event of the break of 1,321. And viewing it via the daily term, there we have the break above the air, now finding support at this level. Okay. And the more often I've said this before, the more often resistance or support is tested, the more likely it is to take it out. So it's been tested a lot here over the last few years at this point. And well, now it was at the stage where it took it out. And it was a convincing takeout. After lifting off from the support, it established some short term support. And then for about 5 or 6 consecutive days, leaving around 13 and a third and rising up to over 14 and a third, over a $100 increase. Still not quite 10%, but close to it. And then from that point, how has the market reacted? Well, a large move down in here and a fast rebound trying to get back going? No. Back again in correctionary phase, and that's where it currently stands. As I got about 8, 9 periods, almost a week and a half or so, trading amongst, or 2 weeks even, but whatever, trading within this level, staying amongst the 18 average of highs. Still no signs that it's ready to go at this stage. But as it's playing out, I think on a bullish level, I'm expecting there's a better chance that this thing will eventually, whenever it's ready to break above the 18 highs, and if it breaks above it from this type of setup, this does not bring me to the situation I don't like. And the one that I don't like is when you have a spot where it goes down good, then it goes back to a previous high, and usually when it does it, it's well extended. Well, in this case, it's not. Because when you can have a move come back down like this and then work its way, see how we're slowly getting these higher lows that we can, well, you'll be able to see better on like the 8 hour, like this. A little symmetrical, lower highs, higher lows. But on a break, starting to get above here, 1428, 1433 type price action when viewing it on the daily, which would be a leaving excitation of the 18. If it does it looking like this, I'm fully expecting a major break of this level of resistance. But it's got to get above it, and it's got to do all those things before I can say I'm really fully convinced that, hey, day trade for gold, it could be like this, where you can get quick, amazing gains very fast, but the probabilities for it goes higher and only on that situation. And now that I got a more premium package on here, I can take a look at gold against like other things, like the Dow Jones, for example. So that's what we'll do is I'll take the higher number, which is the DJI, and we'll divide it by gold. So this is what the Dow Jones is priced in against gold. How is it doing? Well, this is the daily chart, but we'll just look at the more longer term. It's 19.4. The Dow's going up. It's been in a bull market since these 2011, 2012 lows of about 6, meaning it was 6 ounces of gold to buy one share, we call it that, on the Dow Jones Industrial Averages. But we're at that key point, situational. You have a key level right in here. You have another key level, and you're pretty close to in between. Yeah, it's a little higher. So what do you get? What's the next price going to be? Will it either be A, above 45 and change, or below the lows of about 5 3/4? Well, we'll see. But it's now in a correctionary mode from point A to point B, and it's pretty much at a 50% retracement. What I used to do all the time, I'll call it as a kid, but when I'm a kid, that means I was in my 30s, is I would do this more shorter term for different markets. Like, say, if I'm looking at this and this is 9 in the morning and this is 2 in the afternoon and this is 5 in the afternoon or whatever, I might try to guess it and then see how it works because I'll be able to see the results, well, at least relatively fast. It may take years, and it should take years, before the break of either the resistance or the support gets taken out. Next up, let's take a look at gold against Bitcoin. And it's getting its ass kicked. That's no other way of putting it. And it's not in a bullish setup on the monthly right now. before it goes down, then it corrects in here. Then it goes down, and of course, failed breakout, which was that amazing rally gold had at the end of last year. Of course, gold prices are just so much lower. Before it was 0.38, now it's 0.13. And that's because I'm doing the ratio of it. It's Bitcoin overperforming that of gold. They're both, to me, in very bullish situations. The question then lies, which can overperform the other? Don't be surprised if they both go up this year and actually this starts to actually go higher as well. Meaning, if it's possible for me to say, yep, we're going to be seeing gold at 5,000 and Bitcoin 20,000, well, and I personally wouldn't think that's going to happen. But somebody who seems to be pretty in line on the situation says that it might happen or is planning to go into place like 4 or 5,000. We'll see. But for this is a ratio of gold and Bitcoin. Right now, you need about 0.13 Bitcoin to buy an ounce of gold. On the daily chart, as far as reversal of trend is concerned, back at those big high levels, back when Bitcoin was 3,100 and 32, that's the reason why it was so high or why gold was more expensive. What moves have been done to revert the trend? And this one here, didn't do it. And here, no. And here, a little bit above it, no. And here, I don't know. It's getting above the 18 average of highs again, so it's another attempt in doing so. But this is merely a matter of division. Just like I could put something in like Apple against Theta. Right now, you need 2,116 Theta coins to buy one share of Apple. It used to be 1,000, and up here 4,000. Not that volatile, really, and just an okay period of time of about 1 year and change, 1 year and a month. As far as how much gold cost against Gigabyte, we got this pattern in here where we have this major level of resistance on the weekly chart at around 161,000 DGB. Right now you need about 125,000 of them for an ounce of gold. Back in 2018 at these lows, it was only 10,000. Only 10,000 you needed. How cheap gold was at the end of 2017. But during this time frame here for me, I was having a nice feeling of what hyperdeflation is really like. Another indicator for me, waves and Theta. Come on, Theta, just keep rallying. Anyway, that's what I'm cheering for, like you would cheer for maybe the Miami Heat in the NBA or the Kansas City Royals. God, they suck this year. Whatever. So it was 10,000. It's now 125,000. It broke down here from 3.7 million, and it was over 20 million DGB at one point to get 1 ounce of gold. It is what it is. I want to take a look. Let's just take a look. What's going on with waves and Theta? What's going on with Theta? Because I put a sell order for Theta and it hasn't hit yet. Because on here, I just stuck in this one here. So Theta's not above 986 yet. Okay, so what indicator hit here? This is waves going up. This is an interesting situation. Because I can almost do like a wave sell to buy, is it Neo? Yeah, so waves must be going up here. 1 minute time frame. Okay, let's just take a look here. Actually, I need to go 10% for waves. Okay. Yep. Well, what I'll probably do now is sell waves, buy Theta, and try to sell Theta at a higher price against Neo. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.